Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all feeling well this morning, wherever you may be. Hope you're all feeling rested. I know there may not be so many of you on a Sunday morning at this time, but hopefully those that want to be with us will see this. So I'd like to welcome you all to this blessed day and this sacred space of meditation this morning, where I'm going to share some things with you. Morning, Tony. And it's quite cold in here actually this morning, so I've got my heater on. So today's date is the 20th of November, and I'm going to read today's date from Opening Doors Within by Eileen Caddy, the founder of Findhorn spiritual community in Scotland. So, be at peace and rest in my love. You have heard these words many times, and you wonder why they have to be repeated. They are like water. Morning, Nick. They are like water. Very slowly and silently they wear away the old and find a new way. They go on and gradually sinking deeper and deeper within you, until you find they've become a part of you. They are no longer just words, but they live and move and have their own and have their being in you, and you find yourself living them at perfect peace, resting in my love. Never resent repetition, but be eternally grateful that my love is so great that I am willingly, patiently and persistently to go on and will never let you go. I have placed my hand upon you, and I have need of you. You have a very special place in my vast overall plan, and I am waiting to reveal it to you when you are ready. Morning, Len. I'm also going to do a little reading from the Osho Zen Tarot again this morning. Morning, Randy. Great stuff. You made it. So I'm going to use these beautiful cards. It's a bit dark in here this morning, isn't it? But oh, I love those hearts. Thank you. So I'm going to pick some cards for all of us today, and for anyone that may tune into this at any point. And please feel free to share this video, as I can't share it while I'm actually creating them. I have to wait till after it's finished, but other people might want to join us live. So we'll see how many cards come out today. Happy Sunday, Len. So I've picked 3 cards for us all this morning from the Osho Zen Tarot that I discovered when I was 16, when I was living in Devon. So first one is Inner Voice. Such a beautiful image. Second one is Clinging to the Past. And then we have Laziness. So I'll read the Inner Voice first. If you have found your truth within yourself, there is nothing more in this whole existence to find. Truth is functioning through you. When you open your eyes, it is truth opening his eyes. When you close your eyes, it is truth who is closing its eyes. This is a tremendous meditation. If you can simply understand the device, you don't have to do anything whatsoever. Whatsoever you are doing is being done by truth. You are walking, it is truth. You are sleeping, it is truth resting. You are speaking, it is truth speaking. You are silent, it is truth that is silent. This is one of the most simple meditation techniques. Slowly, slowly, everything settles by this simple formula, and then there is no need for a technique. When you are cured, you throw away the meditation, you throw away the medicine, and you live as truth, alive, radiant, contented, blissful, a song unto yourself. Your whole life becomes a prayer without any words, or better to say, prayerfulness, a grace, a beauty, which does not belong to a mundane world, a ray of light coming from the beyond into the darkness of our world. The inner voice speaks not in words, but in wordless language of the heart. It is like the oracle who speaks the truth. If it had a face, it would be the face at the centre of this card, alert, watchful, and able to accept both the dark and the light, symbolised by the two hands holding the crystal. The crystal itself represents the clarity that comes from transcending all dualities. The inner voice can also be playful as it dives deep into the emotions and emerges again to soar towards the sky. Like two dolphins dancing in the waters of life, it is connected with the cosmos, through the crescent moon crown and the earth, as represented by the green leaves on the figure's kimono. There are times in our lives when too many voices seem to be pulling us away, pulling us this way and that. Our very confusion in such situations is a reminder to seek silence and centering within. Only then are we able to hear the truth. The next one is clinging to the past. These tenses, past, present and future, are not the tenses of time, they are the tenses of the mind. That which is no longer before the mind becomes the past, that which is before the mind is the present, and that which is going to be before the mind is the future. Past is that which is no longer before you, future is that which is not yet before you, and present is that which is before you and is slipping out of your sight. Soon it will pass. It will be the past. If you cling to the past, because clinging to the past is absolute stupidity, it is no longer there. So you are crying for spilled milk. What is gone, and don't cling to the present, because that is also going, and soon it will be past. Don't cling to the future, hopes, imaginations, plans for tomorrow, because tomorrow will become today. And today will become yesterday. Everything is going to become yesterday. Everything is going to go out of your hands. Clinging will simply create misery. You will have to let go. Morning calf. The figure pictured in this card is so preoccupied with clutching her box of memories that she has turned her back on the sparkling champagne glass of blessings available here and now. Her nostalgia for the past really makes her a blockhead and a beggar besides. As we can see from her parched and ragged clothes, she needn't be a beggar. Of course, she is not available to taste the pleasures that offer themselves in the present. It's time to face up to the fact that the past has gone, and any effort to repeat it is a sure way to stay stuck in old blueprints that you would have already outgrown. if you hadn't been so busy clinging to what you have already been through. Take a deep breath, put the box down, tie it up in a pretty ribbon if you must, and bid it a fond and reverent farewell. Life is passing you by, and you're in danger of becoming an old fossil before your time. Laziness, the third card. When you are lazy, it is a negative taste. When you simply feel that you have no energy, you simply feel dull, you feel sleepy, you feel dead. When you're in a state of non-doing, then you are full of energy. It is a very positive state. You have full energy overflowing. You are radiant, bubbling, vibrating. You are not sleepy. You are perfectly aware. You are not dead. You are tremendously alive. There is a possibility the mind can deceive you. It can rationalize laziness as non-doing. It can say, I have become a Zen master, or I believe in the Tao. But you are not deceiving anybody else. You will be deceiving only yourself. So be alert. This gentleman clearly thinks he has got it made. He sits in his big, overstuffed chair. He sits in his big, overstuffed chair, wearing his sunglasses, shaded by his umbrella, with his pink slippers and pina colada in his hand. He doesn't have the energy to get up and do anything, because he thinks he's done it all already. He hasn't yet turned to see the mirror cracking around him, on his right, a sure sign that the place he thinks he's finally arrived at is about to shatter and dissolve before his very eyes. The message this card brings is that the poolside resort is not your final destination. The journey isn't over yet, as that white bird flying across the vastness of the sky is trying to show. Your complacency might have arisen from a real state of achievement, but now it's time to move on, no matter how fuzzy the slippers, how tasty the pina colada. There are skies upon skies still waiting to be explored. That's beautiful. So there are messages there for all of us in that reading. Morning, David. And if you missed it, you can always watch the replay. So I'm going to open and share a little bit from Autobiography of a Yogi now. Again, you know, you can listen to and tune in to as much or as little of this as you want to. There's no pressure to stay for the whole session. It's nice if you can, though. So I'm just going to open it, I think. That's strange. I've opened it on the same page that I read from the other day. Okay, I'll read this again then. The Law of Miracles. The greatest novelist, Leo Tolstoy, wrote a delightful story, The Three Hermits. His friend Nicholas Roerich has summarised the tale as follows. On an island there lived three old hermits. They were so simple that the only prayer they used was, "We are three, thou art three, have mercy on us." Great miracles were manifested during this naive prayer. The local bishop came to hear about the three hermits and their admissible prayer, and decided to visit them in order to teach them the canonical invocations. He arrived on the island, told the hermits that their heavenly petition was undignified, and taught them many of the customary prayers. The bishop then left on his boat. he saw, following the ship, a radiant light. As it approached, he discerned the 3 hermits, who were holding hands and running upon the waves in an effort to overtake the vessel. "We have forgotten the prayers you taught us," they cried, as they reached the bishop, "and have hastened to ask you to repeat them." The awed bishop shook his head. "Dear ones," he replied humbly, "continue to live with your old prayer. How did the 3 saints walk on the water?" I love that. So the blissful devotee and his cosmic romance. "Little sir, please be seated. I am talking to my divine mother." Silently I had entered the room in great awe. The angelic appearance of Master Mahasaya fairly dazed me. With silky white beard and large lustrous eyes, he seemed an incarnation of purity. His upraised chin and folded hands apprised me that my first visit had disturbed him in the midst of his devotions. His simple words of greeting produced the most violent effect my nature had so far experienced, the bitter separation of my mother's death. I had thought of the measure of all anguish. Now an agony as separate from my divine mother was an indescribable torture of the spirit. I fell moaning to the floor. "Little sir, quiet yourself." The saint was sympathetically distressed. Abandoned in some oceanic desolation, I clutched his feet as the sole raft of my rescue. "Holy sir, thy intercession. Ask divine mother if I find any favour in her sight." This promise is one not easily bestowed. The master was constrained to silence. Beyond reach of doubt, I was convinced that Master Mahasaya was in intimate converse with the Universal Mother. It was deep humiliation to realize that my eyes were blind to her, who even at this moment was perceptible to the faultless gaze of the saint. Shamelessly gripping his feet, deaf to his gentle remontrances, I besought him again and again his intervening grace. "I will make your plea to the beloved." The master's capitulation came with a slow, compassionate smile. What power in those few words that my being should now release from its stormy exile. "Sir, remember your pledge." I shall return soon for her message. Joyful anticipation rang in my voice that only a moment ago had been sobbing in sorrow. Morning, Adi. Morning, Caroline. I'm reading from Autobiography of a Yogi. I've just opened it randomly at the front. Descending the long stairway, I was overwhelmed by memories. This house at 50 Amherst Street, now the residence of Master Mahasaya, had once been my family home, scene of my mother's death. Here my human heart had broken for the vanished mother, and here today my spirit had been crucified by absence of the divine mother. Hallowed walls, silent witness of my grievous hurts and final healings. My steps were eager as I returned to my Grupar Road home, seeking the seclusion of my small attic. I remained in meditation until 10 o'clock. The darkness of the warm Indian night was suddenly lit with a wondrous vision. Hallowed in splendour, the Divine Mother stood before me. Her face, tenderly smiling, was beauty itself. Always have I loved thee, ever shall I love thee. The celestial tones still ringing in the air, she disappeared. The sun on the following morning had hardly risen to an angle of decorum when I paid my second visit to the Master Mayasaya. Climbing the staircase in the house of poignant memories, I reached his 4th floor room. The knob of the closed door was wrapped around with a cloth. A hint, I felt, that the saint desired privacy. As I stood irresolutely on the landing, the door was opened by the Master's welcoming hand. I knelt at his holy feet in a playful mood. I wore a solemn mask over my face, hiding the divine elation. Sir, I have come very early, I confess, for your message. Did the beloved mother say anything about me? Mischievous little sir. Not another remark would he make. Apparently, my assumed gravity was unimpressive. Why so mysterious, so evasive? Do saints never speak plainly? Perhaps I was a little provoked. Must you test me? His calm eyes were full of understanding. Could I add a single word this morning to the assurance you received last night at 10 o'clock from the beautiful mother herself? Master Mayasaya, possess control over the floodgates of my soul. Again I plunged prostrate at his feet, but this time my tears welled from a bliss and not a pain of past bearing. Think you that your devotion did not touch the infinite mercy, the motherhood of God, that you have worshipped in forms both human and divine, could never fail to answer your forsaken cry? Who was this simple saint, who last request to the universe spirit met with sweet acquiescence? His role in the world was humble, as befitted the great man of humanity I ever knew. In this Amherst Street house, Master Mayasaya conducted a small high school for boys. No words of chastisement passed his lips, no rule, and for rule maintained his discipline. Higher mathematics indeed were taught in these modest classrooms, and a chemistry of love absent from the textbooks. He spread his wisdom by spiritual contagion, rather than impermeable precept. Consumed by an unsophisticated passion for the Divine Mother, the saint no more demanded the outward form of respect than a child. I am not your guru. He shall come a little later, he told me. Through his guidance, your experiences of the divine in terms of love and devotion shall be translated into his terms of fathomless wisdom. Every late afternoon, I betook myself to Amherst Street. I sought Master Mayasaya's divine cup, so full that it drops daily overflowed on my being. Never before had I bowed in utter reverence. Now I felt that it was immeasurable privilege even to tread the same ground which Master Mayasaya sanctified. Sir, please wear this champak garland I have fashioned especially for you. I arrived one evening holding my chain of flowers, but shyly he drew away, repeatedly refusing the honour. Perceiving my hurt, he finally smiled consent. Since we are both devotees of the Mother, you may put the garland on this bodily temple as offering to her who dwells within. His vast nature lacked space in which any egotistical consideration could gain foothold. Let us go tomorrow to the Danshineswar temple. However hallowed by my guru, Master Mayasaya was a disciple of Christ-like Master Sri Raman Krishna Paramahansa. The 4-mile journey of the following morning was taken by boat on the Ganges. We entered the 9-domed temple of Kali, where the figures of the Divine Mother and Shiva rest on a burnished silver lotus, its 1,000 petals meticulously chiselled. Master Mayasaya beamed in enchantment. He was engaged in his inexhaustible romance with the beloved. As he chanted her name, my enraptured heart seemed shattered into 1,000 pieces. We strolled later through the sacred precincts, halting in Tamarisk Grove. The manner characteristically exuded by this tree was symbolic of the heavenly food Master Mayasaya was bestowing. His divine invocations continued. I sat rigidly motionless on the grass amid the pink feathery tamarisk flowers. Temporarily absent from the body, I soared in a supernal visit. This was the first of many pilgrimages to Dakshineswar with the holy teacher. From him I learned the sweetness of God in the aspect of Mother or divine mercy. The childlike saint found a little appeal in the Father aspect or divine justice. Stern, exacting, mathematical judgment was alien to his gentle nature. He can serve as an earthly prototype for the very angels of heaven, I thought fondly, watching him one day at his prayers without a breath of censure or criticism. He surveyed the world with eyes long familiar with the primal purity. His body, mind, speech and actions were effortlessly harmonized with his soul's simplicity. I'll leave it there, but it evokes such beautiful images and energy and possibilities. Would anybody like to ask any questions about anything that we've covered so far this morning, or just like to ask a question, open the space for discussion this morning? I'm happy to discuss anything with you. And let's now take some deep breaths. If any question arises from within you, please feel free to put it in the comments. Going to bring our attention to our bodies now, to our breath, to wherever we may be sitting, lying down. Just allowing everything to soften now. Breathing is happening easily, effortlessly. Body is softening. Eyes are softening. Breathing is relaxed. anybody would like to share anything of their meditation, or if anybody has any questions about anything we've covered this morning, or just general questions of inquiry, then please feel free to write a comment or to post your experiences. Thank you, Len. You too have a beautiful day. Wishing you all a beautiful, blessed day. Just seeing if there's any more comments that I've missed, because sometimes it does happen that way. Oh wow, Caroline, you're in California, cool. Much love to you and your sister. Thank you, Nick. Namaste. I'll just keep the space open a little bit longer in case. Morning, Pauline. Enjoy your day, Len. I'm sure you will bring much sunshine wherever you go today. And if you're just tuning in now and you've missed the live sessions, then I'm going to repost it so you can always watch the replay. Much love, many blessings to you all. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Be in peace. Be in love. Om Shanti Shanti.